We are live right now. Let me go ahead and get it up on the big screen to make sure that it is live the way I want it to. We're a little bit tardy today, but that's okay. Everything's kind of going south today. No, actually, I'm excited for the stream today. We got all kinds of stuff. This is live in the print farm. Here we go. Good stuff. Do we have good audio? We're gonna see how well we have this stuff all lined out. Sick. That seems to be okay. Sick. How well we have this stuff all lined out. Good deal. That seems to be okay. Alrighty, we got everybody now. That'll get rid of the echo for you all. Alrighty. Beyond that, should be good. Cool. Yeah, we're good to go. I'm in the print farm. So, first couple little announcements. If you haven't already, go over to tangledfilament.com and check out our PCTG. We just released low-cost PCTG for 2266. This is an initial launch where we're going to be testing out demand to see how many people care. And then based on the number of people that care, we will do this first batch, which is kind of a pre-order batch. It'll ship in 4 weeks. And then we will go ahead and scale up from there. What's up, Farouk? What's up, J-Pop? Everybody's here. Oh, you know what? While we're at this, let me just go ahead. I'll let the folks on Instagram join in here for a moment. Let me go ahead and get that done. We'll get everybody added in. Everybody will be all happy and go lucky, as they say. And then we'll go from there. Let's see here, right here. Folks on Instagram, I do apologize. You're not going to get to see anything, but we're gonna do it anyway. Everybody on YouTube, here we are. Let me get that. Let's get this. Shoot. Hold on. Working on multiple devices all over the place. Everybody bear with me. Ooh, that looks pretty good. That doesn't look bad. Yeah, that's reasonable framing. I'm not gonna say it's great framing, but it is reasonable framing. All right, there we go. That looks okay. Here we go. Nice. We got all this stuff. How's it going, guys? I'm not going to say that the lighting is great, but we're inside of a warehouse, so this is as good as it's ever going to get. I'm happy with that. What's up, everyone? Nice. Okay, let's see here. All right, so number one, where's everybody coming from? Where's everybody based? Let me get up here closer. I'll get up here closer. This is good stuff. This'll work. Can my chair go down? My chair can't go down. That's fine. We got this right here. Look, it landed just like that. Boy, I wouldn't say that I'm like in focus. Would use right now. Germany, Algeria, nice. Where else are folks coming from? Instagram, can't see you guys. Okay. So, let's, everybody else, there we go. Yeah, Michigan. Out around here. So, the podcast for today will be coming out here in about an hour or so. Honestly, it's still uploaded. We filmed it the other day. I did some edits on it yesterday, and then we didn't start the upload soon enough because I was just like, how long could it possibly take to upload? It couldn't take more than 2 hours. Yeah, it takes 3. So the podcast is still processing right now. I can actually check on it right now. I'll bet it is aged in. Oh no, don't do that to me. Let me come, I'll be back in just a second, guys. Nice, okay. Content. Percent uploaded. Yeah. Okay. Let me get back here. Nice. Got everybody right there. All this stuff. Holy cow. Herd of people just showed up. Florida, New York, Chicago, Romania. Nice. What are the printers on either side? So like these are our internal machines. These are a third-party machine that we modify and use inside of here. Holy cow, whole herd of folks. I just discovered using the 3D texture feature in SolidWorks makes layer lines invisible. Oh yeah, definitely. Always use textures whenever you can. Textures radically unlock how everything works. So let's see. How do I? Oh, you know what? That improved stuff. I am in better focus than I was. That's good. That's nice. Let's go ahead and get this more interesting. Okay. Let's see. So like I say, we just got PCTG released. It is over on tangledfilament.com. We were doing a test run to see how many people care about it. Based on how many people care, we will continue to expand it and drop the price down. We're doing with PCTG what we did with PLA, which is you start out, see if anybody cares to have a little bit of a price reduction on it. And from there, once we know kind of what demand is and what to expect, we can start to optimize the rest of the system to reduce the cost further. So improving the supply chain, making the rest of it just work. Are we going to sell PET-G in the future? No, we're not going to probably sell PET-G for a while. It's not on roadmap right at the moment. PCTG right now. So you will have PLA as a good low-cost prototyping plastic, and then PCTG can be a reasonable functional plastic. It's a good replacement for ASA and ABS, and is a more improved, less hydroscopic version of material compared to PET-G. So that is better. What's up, y'all? Let's see here. How often do you have clogged nozzles? Clogged nozzles generally come from low-grade material or dust collection. So we do have a dust contamination problem inside of our farm, but our machines are so active that it's generally not a big deal. Plus, we invented a way to basically clean the filament as it goes into the machine. It's not like one of those sponges. You don't want to use sponges because they start to accumulate dust over time and then go bad. Don't tell me you do the maintenance of this all by yourself. No. This farm, this is a single aisle of our mega farm. So this mega farm is spec'd out for 3,000 machines. This is one row. We got rows over there. We got rows over there. And there are more machines than this. So this goes all the way back there. Stretches for a bit of a ways. We have about one person per 500 machines who works on stuff. But the thing is, with this print farm, this isn't my print farm. This is a print farm for all you guys. We built this to support Teleport. So Teleport is our print-on-demand software. Anybody can plug their Etsy store or their Shopify into this print farm, and then you have 1,000 printers on tap. And that allows you to scale up without having to build this infrastructure yourself. Because all of these machines, the reliability of them, the qualification of them all, is all taken care of by us, along with the team to maintain them. So you don't have to build it yourself. You can focus on selling and focus on creating products and all the other infrastructure of the business without having to worry about it being printed and shipped on time. Because we have all of this machinery, your orders will ship out in 99% of orders go out in under 2 days. So short of weird stuff, that'll be what you do. How many kilogram a day is used? I don't know. It varies per day. Since it always is dependent on what people are doing, it'll vary over time. How can I find you on Reddit? 3D Print Entrepreneurs is the subreddit. Let's just do that. r/3D Print Entrepreneurs is the subreddit where we have a mega thread for help with Teleport, getting connected, chatting with other people who are Teleport users, other people who are selling stuff. So that subreddit is the place to do. What nozzle do you standardly use? 0.4? Yes, we do use a 0.4 nozzle for everything. 0.4 is the best nozzle type because I can imagine a future where we will probably go down to 0.3 or 0.2 at some point. But 0.4 is standard because everybody uses it. You have really good surface details, and it compensates for print time. Though for print time, that's not really one of the concerns for us because if we are behind, well, we have capacity. So we build out, our whole thing around print speed is if you want to go faster, we'll double the number of your machines, and now you're going twice as fast. You have to think about it as a system, not as a machine. Because increasing the speed of the machine increases wear, depreciation, failure rate. All those are things to be considered. How do you think this market can grow around the world? 3D printing is going to grow huge. Like 3D printing is only just getting started. Print farms like this now allow designers to create products without having to build a factory themselves. So an entirely new category of products can start to be made because people don't have to create the product, create the factory. So now people who otherwise wouldn't create products can create products. Like using this print farm, you can go to portals and you can upload a model and you're selling it in 30 seconds. You're selling physical prints of it in 30 seconds. We literally, last week, there was a YouTuber who designed this cup holder for a baby carrier, and he uploaded it to portals and he sold a mess of them in a couple of days. And we were just like, who is this guy? Where did it come from? And we're like, oh, he posted his short and it's taken off. Good for him. What's up, David? Lucky Luke. Lucky Luke. So the number of printers we have, I'm inside of the mega farm. This facility is spec'd out for 3,000 machines. Basically what we say is if you're using teleport, you get 1,000 machines on tap. So you can plug into this print farm and we print items for you. So anyone who's new, my job, Slant 3D's job, is we print and ship parts for other people. So people will plug their Etsy store into us or their Shopify or their TikTok shop. And when they get an order, one of these machines will fire up, print that item, and then we will pack it up and ship it to your customer for you. So it's 3D printing drop shipping, but now you actually get to design the products rather than picking from what other people have. All right. Here it's a relatively new business, but people are lost with crappy copycat products instead of developing something different, useful, and solid. That's not really the issue. A lot of people think that downloading models is bad. It's not. There are 25 million 3D models out there. And we want to figure, and so much of it is really, really good design, but people don't know how to market or distribute it. We helped with the distribution, but now we need more sellers to help those designers get it. We've got an announcement coming out on Tuesday that will hopefully help with some of that. My Etsy ROAS is like 8, which is great, but I'm pretty much breaking even on those sales after shipping and fees. 8, a ROAS of 8 is really, really good. If you're only breaking even on shipping because of shipping, there's something wrong. Because Etsy takes 12%. Hang on, I'm going to send a link. Printpricecalculator.com. Go here and double check yourself there, 50 nickels. Make sure that your business model is set up right. It'll go through and you can look at Etsy fees and that kind of stuff. And then, oh yeah, Alex, the print farm runs 24/7, definitely on the weekend. So there's parts sitting on, I can't show those. I can't show customer parts, but I'm seeing a bunch of like portalsy items over here on these. Yeah, that's right. We're not stealing any of them. Cool. Yeah, everything's blacked out, blurred out well enough. Good. But if you have a ROAS of 8, that means you're spending $1 of ads and you're selling an item for $8. That's really, really good. If you have a ROAS of 2 to 4, that's very good. So if you're at 8, you're doing fantastic. But if you're losing it on shipping, I assume you're offering free shipping, so $5 goes to free shipping, and then there's 10% for ads, which is like $1 if you're selling about a $10 item. You need to increase your prices, because if you're spending so little to get the sale, you can raise your prices, you will have fewer sales, but you will get better economics. You can also batch items together, so like sell a set of 5, and now you're selling a $40 item that still only costs $5 to ship, and then you can move from there. Are you ever going to make your print farm software public to help people manage their 3D printers? So the software that runs all these printers is called Kraken, which is our print farm control software. It runs on I don't have my phone's down there. But it runs on our main server and operates everything else. We have thought about productizing it and releasing it, but the issue is when you're building a print farm software, in order to do it well, it needs to be really integrated with the machine. And there are so many different types of machines, and with our style, we would just pick like Bamboo Lab or a Creality K1 or something like that. But then a new machine comes out every 12 months. Our job is to make parts for people. We are not a print farm services company in that we're helping other print farms get built. That would be a distraction because we'd be helping other people to do it really well, and then we might be letting our clients down. So it's really, really important when you're running a business to just focus on the things that matter. And for us, it is allowing a kid in a dorm room to get a product made and distribute it. And if we start doing something else, then we're not on mission for that. And we're not helping people create products. We're helping people build print farms. And that's not as important as allowing other people to get access to a print farm without having to build it themselves. So we're focused really hard on that. Is Slant 3D profitable? Yeah, Slant 3D is yes, Slant 3D is profitable. But last year we did a big old investment run where we were expanding. So we spent a whole bunch of money building and facilities and hiring people and that kind of stuff. But the unit economics of Slant 3D are profitable. You always have to make sure when you're running a company that the baseline model works. We print this part and we make a profit off of it that is reasonable and sustainable. But at the same time, you balance that with how much you're building, because we have to build a factory before we can start making parts. But yes, yeah. How and where do you sell your stuff? We don't really sell stuff anymore. We used to run about 5 or 10 top 1% Etsy stores, but we shut them all down last year because we're focused on letting other sellers use this print farm. So you as a seller can plug into our print farm and start using Teleport today. And then you get 1,000 machines on tap to print and ship your items for you. That's what we do. We're a print service. So someone can upload a file, and then if somebody buys it from you, we will print it and ship it right to that customer for you. That's Teleport. Anybody can get on it and use it, and you immediately get 1,000 machines in your pocket. Capacity spools. These are 3 kg. 3 kg is the correct size for a print farm. And then there are 1 kgs over here, but these are slowly rotating out and we'll be moving over to 3 kg. This is a stopgap because the supplier wasn't making these size spools for a bit, so we worked with them and got that fixed. Can you make a video about your print farm software management? It would be very interesting and helpful. We may at some point walk through how Kraken works, but it's with the YouTube channel, we want to make sure that every video we do is educating people about how to create products. And again, if we're making a video about how print farm software works, that's not really what we do. And it's not really what people come to see from us. So it's kind of like explaining how we build one of these machines. That's great, but it would be better if we explained how to design a really good product for mass production printing, so you can use these as effectively as possible. Why not 5 kg? A follow-up question to that is why not 6 kg, 10 kg? Why not 100 kg? All of those create strain on a machine and contamination danger to where you don't really want it. It's kind of suboptimal. How dark? It's not that dark. The lights are going out. That's good. I think that might actually almost be improving the view. Can I get clients for printing? I recently buy Bamboo Lab A1. If you want clients, you need to start dialing the phone. You need to understand what you do. What do? You print stuff? What stuff do you print? Do you do brackets? Do you do toys? Whatever it was. Once you decide what it is that you do, then you go find the customers who do that. And you start calling them up or making TikToks or whatever. Do your printers auto-eject the parts? Yeah. Quite frankly, we pretty much invented auto-ejection. These machines were explicitly designed for auto-ejection back in 2018, 2017. Auto-ejection is not really a mechanical problem. The machine needs to be designed to do it. A lot of these kits and that kind of stuff are great because they jerry-rig the machine into doing it, but the machine doesn't really want to do it, nor are they liable for it. These machines were designed for auto-ejection, and we changed the bed material and the architecture of the machine to enable it. Why can't you directly have cults and printables products pulled into Portal Store so anybody can order them? that is a fantastic idea, asparagus. We would love to do that. The problem is that cults and all of the other repos don't have any way for you to do that right now. The designers will have to upload the files to our catalog and then share them around. Because we are not allowed to access cults files and that kind of stuff. Cults and the rest of them just don't allow that sort of partnership. And they're not interested in it because they're like, oh, files are leaving our website. I'm like, no. It's still a protection for you. So we are releasing catalog to where designers will be able to upload their catalog of files over there. And then whenever somebody sells a print of your file, you will get a royalty from it, which will be so much better than subscriptions. Okay. What about multiple parts that require assembly? Are they delivered as parts only, or is it possible to include some assembled pieces? Parts can be assembled. It's inside of our enterprise tier on Teleport, where you would submit the design and then kind of tell us how it needs to be assembled and that kind of stuff. And then we quote what assembly would be. But yeah, Teleport Enterprise allows assembly. All right, have I missed anything? Rushing to sell as much as we can to escape the permanent it's too late. Sure, 50 nickels. There's no too late. This is the best time in history ever to create stuff. Go create stuff. There's no dying world or anything like that. The planet has never been so dynamic or so creative with so many people. Anybody who's like, oh, the world is so misery, get over it. Like, no, it's not. This is a fantastic and incredible time right now, where just things are being created and the ability to create has never been so accessible. I'd love to know, what? So the auto eject process, we designed the heads of the machines to actually be strong enough and durable enough and to be architected to eject a machine. So based on what the part was, the head will pick the ideal spot on that part and then push off. We don't use auto eject for print on demand stuff. We only do that for mass production, because for on demand things like portals and teleport, you need to have tracking on them. So some of these parts that are sitting on these machines are going to sit there until they're collected, which means they can be scanned off of this machine and then scanned into a box. How do you calculate the price of any uploaded STL or 3MF? It's automatic. The pricing algorithm inside of Teleport and Portals instantly prices your part. So as soon as you upload it, you will, guys, I'm probably gonna shake the lights a little bit. As soon as you upload a file, it instantly calculates what the cost is. And it looks at material, print farm, complexity of the part. Did you put too many pieces on the print bed? All of those things are considered. Just wish you will open a European Department of Teleport. That would be awesome. We're working on it. We're trying to get to it as fast as we can. But the thing is, the bigger value for European sellers is to be able to sell into the United States, because anybody in Europe or any country for that matter can connect to Teleport, and now you eliminate tariffs and you eliminate international shipping costs. Because if you use Teleport and you're a European seller, you get to sell stuff in the United States, and when someone in the US buys it, Teleport fires up and ships it to them from the United States to the United States. And we are the biggest market on the planet, so we have seen Etsy stores basically double their sales overnight, because they went from European only with international shipping to European and US, both with domestic shipping. Teleport allows you to have US domestic shipping. What would you create if you were going to use Teleport yourself? Enigmatic life. Oh, interesting. So for me, I was running through this the other day. Oh, we have a video coming out. There is this product called T-Mats, which is a truck bed liner for laying stuff out and organizing your truck bed. And they need so many accessories. And it's an injection molded plate. It's kind of like Gridfinity, but better in a bunch of ways. But it could be redone in so many interesting ways to create all kinds of cool accessories. And I would design just like 50 to 100 accessories for that. We may still do it. I think we're gonna probably build a video series around them. How do we know our cost for catalog models? I'm not seeing prices. And the price will show there. David, you know T-Mats? That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. This video goes out on Friday. We redesigned an injection molded part into 3D printing, and we so dunked on it. Like, it is so much better. It is more manufacturable. It is better quality. It is better functionality. All of it is better. So subscribe if you want to see that video. You're the biggest market on your planet, but not for my products. I wish you were. 3D print creator? What do you do, 3D print creator? You don't have a product that US consumers want to buy, even though US consumers are 30% of the global. Can you make videos using CAD like Onshape, SolidWorks, and not just Fusion 360? No, we're not going to do any other videos because none of our videos are CAD videos. We don't talk about, here's the tool inside of this CAD software. We talk about how to design a part. We're CAD agnostic. So we have used Shaper, we have used Fusion 360. I think we may have done some SolidWorks videos, but that is simply the methodology of showing how to design, how to put chamfers on the bottom of a part. Here, let me walk down the aisle real fast because I want to turn on some lights. There we are. Yo, we need some sparkle. I need a little bit more light than what we have right now. Let's see here, what else? Let me check on the upload. The upload's at 60%. I gotta keep you guys all talking until the upload's done, and then the podcast can go live. The cars I design parts for are almost non-existent in the US. Oh, 3D print creator, just design something for a Ford F-150. I know you guys don't have those anywhere else in the world. I know that's an American thing, but my goodness, you would sell a bunch of them. People do car accessories through teleport and portals. It's a very good niche and category. So yeah. Order some PCTG from Tangled. Thank you so much, Rick. Yeah, for anybody who wasn't paying attention earlier, we just released a pre-order campaign for PCTG over on tangledfilament.com. I'm going to put this right here, sorry, filament.com. This is a pre-order campaign. It will run for 2 weeks. We need to sell a minimum of 500 kilograms of PCTG. Otherwise, we're going to refund everybody and move on to some other project. But it's over there on tangledfilament.com. PCTG for $22.50 per kilogram, $22.50 per kilogram, effectively. That is, typical PCTG costs about 30 bucks right now. So that's a, what is that? That's 20%. That's a 20% discount from what anybody else does. No, that's more than that. 6 is 30. Oh no, that's 20%. Yeah. So a 20% discount. And then if this works, if this pre-order campaign goes through, we'll probably float here at like 22 bucks for a while. And then we will scale it up, and we think we can get PCTG down to about $13 per kilogram longer term with the production, processing, and raw material costs there. So yeah, we're putting on 3 kg spools. That's part of the cost savings. Spools are just too cumbersome. We may be able to. We'll see how the campaign goes. We want to see if we can get it with 3 kgs because that's the most cost-effective way of doing it. Well, here's a question for the audience. If we had 1 kg spools, would you pay? It'd be about 25 bucks a spool for 1 kg spools because it adds so much more labor and so much more spooling cost. Yeah, it'd be about 25 bucks a spool, which is not that much cheaper. But would you pre-order 1 kg spools for 25 bucks a spool, PCTG? If enough people are interested, then maybe we can get that knocked out before the campaign's done. How many printers is this? So this is the Mega Farm. This Mega Farm is spec'd out for 3,000 machines. We've got rows over there and rows over there. I'm sitting in one aisle because I'm one person. And this is also the aisle that is generally not doing projects that are very super protected. I did a walkthrough of this to make sure there were no parts on it that were out of spec and stuff. These are doing production. These are doing teleport and portals orders, but you guys can't see them, so I'm okay with that. Oh, darn it, I see an issue. Somebody put like 50 parts on this print bed, and one of them is bad. That's why you don't batch a ton of parts on a print bed. I would only use 3 kg spools if I had my choice. Fantastic making layers. You must be a print farmer. True that. I'll just respool. Good question on the 1 kg spool. Okay, cool. Nice. So it's all print farmers watching this, weirdly enough. Crazy that that's our audience. Why are you not stacking 3 printers high? Is it a thermal reason or a human issue? It's a human issue. This is the thing, like when you're, we may go higher someday, but probably on a 2nd story thing. When you're designing a factory, you need to design every operation to be viable for a 13-year-old girl. Quite frankly, if I really could, I would have all of these at waist level, just full length everywhere. And we would like store filament underneath. We store filament on the top shelves in these aisles here, which is not quite ideal. But we also need to use the space effectively. The reason you want everything at waist height is so that people are not bending down or reaching up. But every human can make themselves shorter by crouching. Not every human can make themselves taller. And if you introduce footstools, that's really, really slow and collection, and it is also dangerous because people can fall. People don't fall when they're crouching down or reaching down low. It can create long-term stress on your lower back, but that's a training issue and that kind of stuff. So that's how we deal with it. I wish I wasn't a print farmer. Therefore, please come to Europe. 3D print creator, you should reach out to us directly. It sounds like you're in a situation where you've got a really good business, but you don't want to run a print farm, which is exactly the type of people that we want to help out with Teleport. But you don't have a product that works in the US. Okay, I got that. I'll bet a genre of your product would work. And quite frankly, if you're interested, we could probably help you design some accessories for the States. Like, here's the thing. If you would let us do a video about it, about designing the item, and use you as like a case study, we could take whatever like your concept is in Europe, and then could reapply it to a Ford Focus in the United States or a Toyota Camry in the United States, and then go through the design process of it and get you set up with some US-based products. That would be awesome. And we'd love to do that because we love doing these demos and showing people how to do it. And if you've got an established business, it's really useful. Let's see here. What is your job in Slant 3D as the CEO? My job is to do the things that no one else wants to do, because crap rolls uphill. And then it's my job to make sure that the vision is set and clear. My job is to make sure that the team is able to do their jobs and they know what their job is. They know what they're running at. Your job as the CEO is to not get to people are not getting wild down in day-to-day random work, but they know what they're going for so that they always know what the goal is and what the main point of the day is. Otherwise, people get into busy work and they answer emails and that kind of stuff and nothing gets done. My job is to make sure my people are able to do the best work that they possibly can. And that extends from wherever else it was. So that's what I do. Now, in a more nitty-gritty sort of thing, I lead the product team. So I lead the product team to a degree to make sure that we're hitting certain specs and what products need. We're a small company, so I'm deeply embedded in finances, I'm deeply embedded in the software, I'm deeply embedded in the machine design, because we're a startup, it's part of the gig. And I'm an engineer and I want to know what's going on, and it's really important to make sure that good things are happening. But ultimately, any company exists only because of its people, so it is my job to make sure that our people are doing the best work they can. Really considering taking you up on the cookie cutter and baking supply business. Any last minute tips before I go all in? No. The trick to the cookie cutter business is make a ton of cookie cutters, and we made a tool for that. So let me see here. ConjureCAD.com. Whoops. ConjureCAD, don't spell correct me, .com/cookie. Oh shoot, that's not even gonna make it in there because I'm not like an approved, I'm on my personal on this one. Okay. Yeah, create a ton of cookie cutters. And you can do that through us. You can generate 100 cookie cutters in an afternoon just by prompting conjurecad.com/cookie cutter or cookie. And that will get you a whole mess of cookie cutters really quickly that are optimized, ready to go, look cool. And then from that, post them all on Etsy, build out good product listings, and then run ads against them and then find out which genre works. If you can start with a niche that you're interested in, like your passion, like I love fishing, make a bunch of fish cookie cutters because then you know how to communicate them in a way that people will understand and appreciate. Cattle ranch. Yes, I am originally from a cattle ranch. I am a ranch kid. I grew up, when I turned 5 or 6, I would have to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, go to work at 7, and we would work until 5 or until the job was done. That's where I came from. My K through 8 school had 13 kids in it, K through 8, and then I drove an hour to my high school, and I would spend the week inside the big city of Burns with 5,000 people, and I would go to high school there. But yes, originally from a cattle ranch, was going to church this morning, had my good boots on. I prefer designing over manufacturing. The products are light strips for the front and rear of cars that replace the original logos, making the brand logo light up beautifully. Interesting. Accessories, aren't you? Wait, no, you're not doing Beamer accessories. Otherwise, you would sell them in the States. Ooh, interesting. You should do it for Ford F-150s. People would buy the Ford logo and did that. People would buy that from you like crazy. It's tough because they would have to do assembly from it if you were using us. But I would imagine most of your buyers would be interested in something like that. Any thoughts of using pellets instead of filament? I see that pellet extruders have come down in price. Pellet extruders are a dead end, in my opinion. They will certainly continue to develop, and there's certainly a lot of engineering that can be done on them to make them better. But pellet extruders are great if you have one color of that style of pellet, but pellets aren't really sold in pallets of yellow. Like there's no pellets in that way. You can get master batches, but those are meant to be mixed in with other pellets. With a pellet extruder, you don't have good control of color. It is a system that should be large, but you've shrunk down, which means okay, here's an analogy. A power plant for creating electricity. Why a power plant can get about 60% efficiency from turning coal or gasoline into electricity. But your car, your automobile that is a portable, smaller, cheaper version of a power plant gets somewhere between 20-25% efficiency out of how much energy is in that fuel. Because it's meant to be small and portable, it trades off efficiency and effectiveness. In a big power plant, in a print farm, you want control. So we build a great big old extruder that extrudes filament by the tons so that these individual machines do not need all the complexity of an individual pellet extruder. At scale, cost of creating filament compared to cost of creating filament is zero. Because you put in a little bit of electricity to melt the filament into an extruded line, and then you extrude it. And you dump in beads, and then it turns into filament. And you add a little bit of electricity. Putting pellet extruders on 1,000 machines just creates a scenario where you have 1,000 times more complexity because pellet extruders are really complex compared to 2 wheels pushing filament through a nozzle. So pellet extruders are kind of a dead end for production, They have a lot of usefulness in like furniture making and a lot of usefulness in like some bespoke applications. But for what we do, we want the control, consistency, and reliability of filament because the cost of creating filament is so low for us and will be for everybody. T-Rex Off-Road, any PCTG news? We just released PCTG over on Tangled Filament, and for you, like this is a harbinger of what is to come. We're working on getting PCTG added to applications. We're not sure. Here's the thing. I'll give everybody an internal fight. We are having a battle amongst ourselves of should we do a high durometer TPU, an ASA, or a PCTG first as a new release on portals. So anybody who's here who has an opinion, go ahead and vote. That's useful. Do you want ASA, PCTG, or high durometer TPU? Might go PCTG, we'll see. I'm in medical devices. Oh, nice. Totally makes sense. Oh, great, thanks. I'm glad that makes sense around pellet extruders. TPU. Let's go, nice. Hey, T-Rex Off-Road, shoot me a follow-up email because I've been meaning to shoot you a follow-up email to see how everything's going. I know you were doing the transition. Did you get the site swap going good? I hope it went well. PCTG or TPU, PCTG. Oh, TPU's kind of out in front. What else we got? Nobody wants ASA. That's good to know. That's an honorary moderator, Bean. That's a serious farm. Yeah, this print farm is laid out for 3,000 machines. You're seeing a few hundred right here going back there for a while. But this print farm is for making parts for you guys. So what we do is we run Teleport, which is a print service that you plug into your e-commerce store so that when you get an order, one of these machines fires up, prints the item, and ships it straight to your customer for you. We do 3D printing drop shipping for people and mass production. PCTG. All right, TPU, PCTG, neck and neck. What else? We'll see how this goes. What other questions do people have? What can we go over or discuss for folks to help you all out? Got a bunch of folks here. This is cool. Oh no, buffering. Let's see. What are other questions, folks? I'm going to scroll up a bit. If the design needs something like a heat set insert, magnet, etc. installed, do you have any solution for that? Thomas. Yes, we do. In Teleport Enterprise, if you assembly, we'll go through and quote out assembly for your project and get the pricing set for that for each one of your items. So yeah, that's how we deal with that. Any enterprise users get full assembly if you need it. We also activate basically any colors you want. So enterprise users can say, by golly, we need chartreuse ASA from 3DX Tech. And we're like, okay, we'll turn that on for you. You're an enterprise user. We're totally fine with that. Do you do post-processing? Oh yeah, totally. Every part that comes through that goes through a post-processing process where it's inspected to make sure that it's up to snuff and has supports removed. We have a video on this channel, not on that channel, on this channel. The video is on the channel. We go through and show like the full process from collection through post-processing to shipping. So you can see what the steps are throughout it. I think it's called How Parts Are Made in a Giant 3D Print Farm. Yeah. PETG booger buildup on 0.8 nozzle. I have no solution for you there, man. PETG's has booger buildup on almost everything. Is drying filament ever necessary for the print farm? Yeah, it depends on the filament you're using. So filaments like TPU, nylon, and PETG kind of need dried. PLA, not so much. Plus, we are in a really dry part of the world. We're in a high desert area. So our average humidity is generally like 20%. So drying is less of a problem for us here than for many types of suppliers who need to fight with different things. So like if you're in Florida, it really sucks to be 3D printing because it's just automatically not going to work. That didn't help. I thought that was going to do stuff. We need to, we'll set up studio lights right here so that I can get lighting when I need it. Will that just light up? Ah, hey, nice. That's excellent. Can I save $24 shipping on 6 kg of PCD if I pick it up in the parking lot? Nope, sorry. We don't allow, number one, we don't allow access to the factory. Plus, here's the thing. If you do the pickup in parking lot, it still costs us $24 because you're gonna call us. We're gonna have to badge you in through the security gate. A human is going to have to make sure you don't wander into the print farm and steal somebody else's IP. We then have to load your pickup, and then people get back to work, which if that takes 10 minutes of people helping you, that costs $24. So we have to ship it out so that our team can focus on what they're doing and can just run through. Because if there's this special local pickup and stuff, it's not free. We don't have a storefront, we don't have flows for that. So it becomes a disruption, which is very expensive. So we don't allow like local pickup and that kind of thing because access to our print farm. But our print farm also has 2 gates to get access to it because we're on a campus. Our neighbors build fire trucks and then we're one of the buildings on the campus. So we're very locked down. And then Google Maps is gonna send you to the wrong place and you're gonna call us for those kind of things too. Like there's just so much shenanigans with it to where we can't just leave the filament out on the porch because it'll get rained on. There's just, none of it works. So we gotta ship you the filament. You can become a Tangled member and then you get free shipping. That's an option. Just become a member and then you get free shipping. Parking lot pickup sounds like a different kind of business. Yes, that's pretty much what it is. Any plans to ever get an ISO 9000 cert for the facilities? Here's the thing, the ISO 9000 is basically a fake certification because the ISO 9000 just says we have a process and we follow it, and then ISO says, great, you have a process and you follow it. If that process breaks down, then you have tracking of it all. We could very easily get ISO certified because Slant 3D is so heavily processized, we have better tracking on a per part basis than most organizations ever do. Wildly more than like a machine shop. Not as good as Ford, but you know, pretty darn good. So we could do it, but the problem is that it's an expensive $10,000 or $20,000 to get it, and ultimately it doesn't mean anything because our clients don't care. We have done work with defense contractors, we have done work with Fortune 500s, and we do work with Etsy stores. And none of them are saying, oh, if you were ISO 9000, we could do more. I'm like, nah, we've got real certification. We show you what it is. We have real process control that you are able to observe. Like when you use Teleport, you get to see, oh, printing, flagged for error, shipping now, here's tracking number. So you see full life cycle of a part, which is as good as ISO 9000 can ever be. So we don't need an arbitrary certification to say we're good at what we do. We're just being good at what we do. Bonjour, Pascal. How's it going? France, nice. Yeah, ISO is just to say you do as you do, as you say. Yep. I love how you talk about struggles businesses have, like a few minutes work per client, that would make it too expensive. Most people don't understand that. That's true, but absolutely. But that's like the case of like, many businesses don't recognize the value of time, of their own time, so they do everything for everyone. And then if you do everything for everybody, you end up doing some stuff poorly. Let me give you a really good example. We used to have a Discord channel that we stopped maintaining because it just wasn't, it wasn't building on itself. It took too much time and we weren't doing a good job, so it was shut down. I found out just the other day that a few of those channels were still turned on, so I had to go through and turn them off completely because people were over there talking and say, why is it Slant 3D talking on this Discord? Because it was our Discord. And we were like, we had an announcement at the top, said we don't do this anymore, all the rest of this, but it was still there. So we had left it, but it still existed, so now it just looked like we were not doing a good job. So we killed it. I got it all shut down, so that's not available anymore. So people are angry that now we don't have a Discord. Great. We have the subreddit and we have our support email chat, which are exceptional because the support email during the week, you get a response in minutes. On Reddit, we're constantly monitoring it, and there's a community over there that's dynamic, and those are really good customer support experiences. Whereas when we were spread so thin across Twitter and Discord and Instagram and all the rest of it, we would say we were all there, but then people would get kind of a meh experience. So you pick the stuff that you do and you don't do anything else. Because people will forgive you for not doing something, but they will not forgive you for doing something poorly. So just don't do it. So do it well, or just don't do it. It had some texture, they'll never know it was printed. My man. Would customers ever get upset over layer lines or small defects from prints? No, never. Here's the thing, yes, texturing immediately solves all these problems, but customers in general have never had an issue with 3D printed parts. They've had an issue with bad 3D printed parts, but bad 3D printed parts have never, have always existed and will continue to exist. Print quality has been since 2015. Heck, I would make the argument that early maker bots had perfectly reasonable print quality. Customers don't care, they just care when you try to print an injection molded part with an FDM machine and then it's garbage because they weren't meant to be made that way. To Thomason. Netherlands, nice. Russia, Netherlands, France. Where is everybody? Where is everybody right now? We got a whole mess of folks hanging out. We've got France, we've got the Netherlands, we've got Michigan. And you would get it in a heartbeat. You are so automatic process. Oh yeah, we could get an ISO certification super fast, just don't care. It is better to spend that money to improve teleport or help out a customer than to make ourselves feel better. Getting an ISO certification is like getting more subscribers. It makes you feel good, but it doesn't really do anything, especially in the industries that we work with. Antarctica? Is that a joke or for real? For real? Are you down at one of the research stations? I feel such achievement if we've got somebody down at the Antarctic Research Station watching this stream. Oh man, you want to do a collab? You want to do a video? Can we design something for you guys and try to ship it to you? That would be hilarious. Romania. Yeah, Oriana. Dude, talk more. Are you really in Antarctica? And I assume you guys have a printer down there? What is the printer? What are you working on? All this stuff. Dallas, Texas. Oh, shoot. You're just jacking with me. Darn it. You got my hopes all up. It's just Dallas. Dallas is fine. But it's not Antarctica. Now my day's just okay. Just kind of good. Just like pretty good, but not like amazing. Oh, we got a comment from... What do we got? What's up with the PBA? Nope, don't do anything with PBA. Don't know anything about it, don't care about it. PBA is a replacement, but it's not, I don't know, it's not exceptional enough yet for me to pay much attention to it. At my work made me buy my own printer at home. Here's the thing, Thomas, I understand that. Like, I get that because Ultimakers certainly have their weirdness, but they have always had Bamboo level print quality, but they've always had, before Bamboo existed, they just never like got to scale to where they could really optimize and harp on it. And I would say more recently, Ultimaker got increasingly corporate. Space Coast of Florida, nice. Can you see the Starship towers going up? Weird stuff. Yeah. South Africa, Charleston, great camera view, Gabe. I'm trying. This is what we're doing. We're going on mobile on all of this stuff. Just subscribe. Thomas Cornelius, nice. North Wales, Minnesota. Man, we got everybody. This is a good day. All kinds of folks around. Maryland, sweet. Every launch, sick. Here's the question. Does it ever get old? Or are you just like, the stupid rockets outside my door? in the middle of the night, I could deal without it sometimes, or is it just always just great? Oh, I want to check something. Oh, that's about what I thought. Yeah. We got the Instagram rolling down there and the YouTube's rolling up there. So I'm just seeing what all's doing. When a product is sold via Portals Teleport, how do we get paid? In Portals, you will see what your profit is. There's a sales little icon up on the upper left, and you tap on that, and you see how much you get made. Or you can go to your analytics, and you see how much you've made. In Teleport, we tell you how much it costs for us to print it, and then when you get an order on your Etsy, you pay us to make that order. And then whatever your profit is, you get paid from Etsy, because Etsy will pay you and you pay us. So, yeah. Africa. Yes, you can absolutely sell your designs from Africa. Upload them to Portals, and they're available. In fact, we kind of designed it for that. Portals, we had an issue with a lot of marketplaces just having a lot of shenanigans that were unnecessary. So we built Portals so that people could get a store and a selling channel that was good and easy, to where you can just upload a model and 30 seconds later you're sharing, and you have a link and you just share that on an Instagram or a TikTok video. Let's see here. If there was one thing you could have changed when you first started, what would it be? I wouldn't have started it in Idaho, down to Texas or Ohio or something else like that. Slant 3D, in our entire history, we have never done more than 1% of our revenue from customers in the state of Idaho. But we pay taxes in Idaho. We live in Idaho. I employ people inside of Idaho who all pay taxes too. So Idaho gets a ton of economic value from us. But there's basically no for us. And since we've turned into a fulfillment company, it's like expensive to ship from here, which we either subsidize or we deal with, so we pay that tax too. And the talent in Idaho is not the correct talent for what we do. We have an exceptional team right now, but it was really difficult to put that together, and we had to work really long and hard to do it. But yeah, if I was redoing it, I wouldn't have started in Idaho. I would have gone someplace else. Chinese companies ignore copyright and patents. Easier, cheaper, cheap labor. No. Here's the thing. Patents do not matter. Right now, guys, think about ChatGPT and Anthropic. Every 3 months, there is a new wave of upgrades that all those guys have to do that make everything they just did irrelevant. A patent lasts 20 years. The transformer, which is the baseline for all of this core technology that is worth trillions of dollars, isn't patented because it's irrelevant. Anybody who is working on patents in today's era is just wrong, because patents are not a defense, they are a weapon. If you are not getting a patent in order to go stab somebody with it, you shouldn't get a patent, because it's not a shield. A patent is not a shield at all. If somebody infringes your patent, you have to go sue them. It doesn't somebody infringes your patent, you don't get to say, hey, infringement, and then somebody says, oh yeah, infringement. You can't do that. That's not how it works. Patents are a complete and total waste of time, especially when you're starting. Your job is to move faster than someone else, because yes, someone's going to rip you off and copy you. Oh, here's like a really great example. A couple days ago, we did a video about a can shot where we redesigned, there was a product that went viral, and a kid was selling a whole mess of them on TikTok. Michael Saylor, he does a fantastic job, and he has a great business. And he's got a powerful business for a reason I'll explain here in a second. But we redesigned his product. We improved it so that it could be printed all in one shot. The fins were more durable, and it was just a cleaner product. And we were like, here's a cleaner version of the product. Here's the thing, if I started selling that, I would never match his sales, because he has already contacted customers, he has YouTube, he has brand identity, reviews. All of these things are moats that protect him from somebody ripping him off. So we improved the design in order to show how to improve the design, but unless somebody comes in from a completely different angle, they will not be able to compete with what Michael is doing, because he has such a lead on everybody in all other aspects of the business. So Like that's the thing. Patents are just irrelevant. It is speed of execution. Here inside of this is a print farm. The idea is a print farm. What am I going to patent? Oh, a bunch of machines on a shelf. No, anyone can go build a print farm and compete with us. But the reason we kind of win is because we have that many machines when somebody else is going to have to start at zero. So you're going to have to catch up to where we are. And then you got to build teleport, and then you got to do all this other stuff. So it would be stupid of me to patent this stuff because the idea of a print farm is not that unique. Our implementation of it, yes, we've designed machinery and we've designed software and all the rest of it, but somebody else can come along and design something different or better or think of something that we haven't. So our job is to just build as fast as we can go and get customers and build relationships and build brand in order to stay relevant. What do you think about Merit 3D? Oh, I know those guys. They're just south of us a little ways down in Utah. They use resin 3D printing for mass. I disagree with them about the business model because I think mass production 3D printing as an alternative to injection molding is a dead end. Injection molding has lived a whole life and universe in time, and every injection molding company has 3% net margins, which means that you can't survive. They're all just floating along, barely surviving. If you do injection molding with 3D printing, you end up going down that same road. So there's no way to get value capture because it all commoditizes to nothing. And that's kind of what they're doing. So I'm not really a fan of that model. Right now, 3D printing in mass production has good margins, but those will disappear eventually because that's what happened with injection molding. So I just don't, I don't agree with the business model. They're great guys though. Okay. As long as you don't sell patented work, you're okay, right? But you can use it in-house as much as you please, right? Depends on if the patent holder sues you or wants to enforce it. If you're using people's ideas to, if we took a patented idea and used it in this print farm, which is a commercial process, then the holder of that patent could theoretically sue us. They might not because they wouldn't ever know that we're doing it, and they'd have to come in and like film our print farm to say that like you're stealing it. Like that is a scenario where that kind of thing could happen. It's better if we just create original ideas. But yeah. So no, if you are using patented work, the patent holder can come after you wherever you are if they want to. You're offering the can shooter and teleport. Yeah, we're offering the can shooter and teleport. We wanted to demo and show how designers can share designs on teleport so that when somebody uses the design and gets a print of it, they can get a royalty from it. So we're basically turning loose all of our files onto teleport as part of catalog, and then we're working with other designers to get them shared too. Not the talent we need in Idaho. I've worked at a software development company that was geographically distributed, worked well with the proper communication tools. We're able to hire awesome talent. So David, here's the thing. Like a software is different from a factory, first of all. I just gotta say that. Like our software developers have to work inside the factory so they know what we're doing. I have tried the remote thing. It does not work for what we do. If you are a company that has been organized and designed around remote work, that's totally fine. But I also kind of have an ethical problem with remote work. I don't think we'd ever do full remote for almost anyone because people think that the value of work is in the day-to-day sort of grind, and it is. You have to continuously move along and go to the gym each day. But the really high leverage moments are very serendipitous. And that serendipity can only happen from people being in the room. Now everybody would look at the room and say, we spend 8 hours and we're all quiet typing away on our keyboards. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And then once a week, there's a conversation where we're talking about something and it sparks an idea or a direction or somebody raises an issue that wouldn't come up otherwise because there's too many barriers in the thing. So being in office is very, very valuable, especially as a startup. Fully remote as a startup, I wouldn't want to do that. You could do that with like maybe 2 founders, maybe, if both of them are on board. But as you grow, you need to have an office. Can you use teleport to list one product for your store, or do you have to use the whole store? No. You set the products that you want us to fulfill. You can have us fulfill one part, or some of one part, or the whole store, or just US orders. Whatever you need us for, that's what you use it for. Some teleport users use us for overflow. They'll just toggle a switch and say, I got it with my home printers, don't need teleport. And then they're like, I got too many orders this weekend, flip on teleport. Or, oh, I'm going on vacation, flip on teleport. We've got businesses that'll order 100 parts at a go and then disappear for a month. Like, you can do however you like with teleport. My son sees you and says you copied someone's can shooter, and he wants to know if you did that with the creator or if you bypassed him. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, he's talking about a video that we did last Friday. We didn't copy. He was the example. Michael is selling tons of these things. But the design for that can shooter has been around for years. There's been many of them around, and actually there was a Kickstarter for it like a year ago that wasn't Michael. Michael created his own original design. Then we went ahead and created our own original design. And I did that video in order to show people how to redesign a real world product for mass production printing. We, by the way, sent those files over to Michael if he wanted to use them in his own design and sent them over for free, so he can get a hold of them too. But then, yeah, we did post the file or the files on Teleport so that other people could access the can shooter if they wanted to. But no, we absolutely didn't steal the design or anything like that. We redesigned a product that was out there to show how it could be done. But yeah, Michael, we've reached out to Michael multiple times before, gave him the opportunity to help out with the video if he wanted to, and gave him the files. But ultimately, it wasn't his design from the start either. It's effectively an open source product that's been around out there for a while. But here's the thing. Michael is way ahead of everybody. Like, he has a TikTok presence and reviews and all these other things. So even if we cloned his product and then started selling it or whatever else it was, no one else would be able to match him because he has such a lead on people. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Can you show what we're printing? No, I cannot show what we're printing because these are other people's stuff. So I cannot pull off one of these parts and show you what's sitting here because that would be breaking our terms of service. That's also, by the way, why we don't film in the farm very often, because there's always a big old danger of showing off somebody's product. And we just cannot do that from a safety standpoint or from an IP protection standpoint. How do you guys stay ahead of new technologies that pop up in the FDM space, like the index multi-material? It's important to know what technologies are relevant and what technologies are fads. For me, from a standpoint of relevance, 3D printing has not changed in the last 8 years. Everybody's like, but Bamboo made it so much faster and better quality. No, 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 no. Bamboo put a control algorithm into their machine, which had been around for a while, and they made it more consumer friendly, and they made matte materials a standard so that print quality. They also set their slicer to a default of 0.2 or 0.15, so it just looks better quality, whereas other slicers had the default set at 0.3. Those are not fundamental technologies. Multicolor filament has also been around since 2012. We have had multi-extruder nozzles the whole time. So when we're running the print farm, we're like, what is a fundamental truth that will continue to be relevant 10 years from now? Multi-material and multicolor will probably still be around 10 years from now, but is it useful? Are printers any significantly faster way of making them faster? They are still slow on a cycle basis. The best way to increase speed is to do this, is to build a whole mess of machines. Because one printer takes 2 hours to make a part. But we're effectively, if this whole row is working on them, then we're making, I don't know, 100 parts a minute or something like that. Because you point 1,000 machines at it, and now you're making 100 parts per minute effectively. So, he will always have his place for small. So it will always have, Thomas is talking about Merit 3D, which is a mass production 3D printing house. Here's the thing. For mass production, how do you grow? You make more parts. If you have a client, mass production, by the way, is defined as 25,000 parts. That's what Toyota considers mass production, which is small. But we are cost competitive with molding up to 100,000 pieces. So if you're making more than 100,000 pieces, we say go get a mold because you have enough consistency and demand to justify that. If you're making fewer than 100,000, you should be using 3D printing. The reason I don't think that's sustainable is because with a print farm like this, you can make one part and you're instantly profitable. With mass production printing, you have to get to a certain scale because you're trying to make a big old batch of parts that you store in a warehouse. So mass production printing, where we make a big old batch of parts, is kind of a gateway drug from molding, which requires a big old batch of parts, to 3D printing where you don't have the mold. I think print on demand is the winner because print on demand eliminates the mold, it eliminates the warehouse, and it eliminates the shipping. So there are three industries that have margins that can be absorbed so you can be profitable for the long period of time. But if you are a mass production house, you automatically commoditize and your clients, as they order more parts, want a better deal, but you don't get, with more parts, you don't necessarily get an increased efficiency. So you do a bit, but not at the same scale that customers want, like a reduction in cost. And since they're still using the injection molding supply flow of a warehouse and shipping a batch of parts, they don't see a lot of the big benefits of printing, like design modification. So even though we started out doing mass production, we always knew that it was kind of a stopgap where it would probably die over time because it just becomes an unsustainable business. Wow, we got a lot of folks around. Where's everybody coming from? We need to do a check on where everybody is. Do you know examples where 3D prints which are open source also have become commercially successful? For example, Arduino being good while also being open source for hardware and software. So here's the thing. Arduino isn't really open source. It is, they share their designs online, but Arduino has the business infrastructure and the fabrication and supply chain to actually make their design. If they share the design with us or other people, it doesn't really matter because they're the ones who have built the business around it. They've built the infrastructure around it. They also have a product pipeline to where they know what their customers want, so their next design can address a customer need, and again, they're ahead of people. In 3D printing, if you open source a design farm already, you have no advantage over anybody else. Just a bunch of people with 3D printers get a hold of it. So you don't have like a business model there. In this moment, open source designs, designer and benefited the user. Some fidget toys, like the original fidget toys, designers got a large amount of value capture from that originally. Just kind of started to fall off because they don't get to partake of the sales of those products. Hold on. Let me get the lights turned back on. Come on. See me. Please see me. But that's because designers could never get a production moat built around their open source design. Arduino has a production moat. Software has an execution moat. Software takes a certain time and amount of expertise to develop. Therefore, the software grows because it's useful. Though I could make the argument that open source software is only really sustainable because of the companies that maintain it professionally and use it internally. So everybody gets to benefit from open source and everybody shares, but it's because companies keep engineers dedicated to it, keeping it maintained and growing forks and contributing to it. Open source projects in general, purely open source ones that are purely community driven and don't have a professional organization or a lead working on it, generally don't work because crowds and mobs don't work very effectively. Linux is the closest to a really truly open source project, but that's because Linus Torvalds is so fantastically clear about what Linux should be, that it has an opinion and it doesn't turn into mob rule. And he directs it and continues to review it. And now he is building up the next generation of people who will take over moderation of that. In products, I think this kind of stuff now allows open source hardware to be more common. Open source 3D printed products. Because a designer can design an amazing vase or a can holder or something, start producing and selling it, and then open source the design to 3D printing people, so that that open sourcing effectively becomes marketing for that hardware. So people without printers will see the guy who printed it and say, can I get a hold of that? And the guy will say, yeah, you can buy it from the original designer over here. And the print farm allows the designer to sell prints. This is really similar to Arduino too. Since I mess around with Arduino at home, I might think to use an Arduino in my company. And therefore my company buys an Arduino chip from the Arduino organization. So open sourcing and creating a low-cost thing that I can use at home creates a product-led marketing roadmap that then allows commercial use of it, which can pay the bills. But inside of 3D printing explicitly, Prusa. Prusa is an example of an open source design, but you could argue that it wasn't successful because they have now pulled that back and changed it from true open source. And it's evolving, but open source in hardware is just a very different monster because hardware has always been so slow. But now it's faster. Tampa, Chico, Florida, Portugal, Canada, Western Kentucky, Central Florida. What sorts of things do you mass print? All kinds of stuff. It goes all over the board. Speaking of Linus, would you guys ever work with LTT since they are going heavy in product design? You know, I would love to work with the LMG team or Creator Warehouse. I think there's several cool things we could do if they wanted to do a 3D printed product. I am, however, certain that they have opinions around 3D printed parts to where Linus probably has not been presented with a 3D printed product that he thought was compelling. Now, it would be awesome to work with them to see if we could make something that Linus would like. Like, I would love to do that video. Like, we tried to impress Linus with 3D printed products. I would love to do that video where we make a phone charger or something else and we have to go through and engineer it where Linus is like, man, it feels good. It's got good weight to it. I don't see layer lines and it doesn't look weird. There's not this feature or the bed texture isn't weird. Because I know, I watched Linus's videos. I know he's persnickety. They just released cables the other day and they ran through how they went through the cable design. But yeah, I would love to collaborate with like their design team or Creator Warehouse to see, and then like we just do a video about it where we get 5 or 10 minutes with Linus and like, Linus, come in here, do a quick review of these things, see what you think. And if he's disappointed with it, that's fine. We can go back to the drawing board and try again. But I would love that sequence. I'd also do it with like MKBHD or something like that. Those would just be awesome experiences. And as a YouTuber, just be awesome to work with those guys or interact with those guys for a minute because they are the cream of the crop. They are at the peak of the game. I would love to do something like that. So, hey, if people want to comment or say, hey, let Slant 3D in, I'll sick the mob on them. Go do that. Persnickety, good word. Yeah, Linus is persnickety. That's a perfect word for his how he looks at stuff. What's up, Sean Tech? This is the normal video stream. The podcast is going out a little bit late here today. So we're actually waiting for the upload. I'm watching it right now. It's at 81%. So it's probably going to end up going up about 2:30 or 3. So we're kinking on the middle. Wow, we got a good row of folks coming by. Wow. Let's see here. What's up, Sean Tech? That would be active. As an active WAN show watcher, I think it would be a cool video where he tours your shop and tries to tell the DFF from injection to FDM. Oh, there's no way Linus would come down to our shop. He's too busy. For a shop tour, we need to get smarter every day. As he was doing the manufacturing stuff, we could have him come down to the shop. Let's see here. I'm going, it is getting late. But see you later, Thomas, that's fair. Yeah, we would have to go up to Vancouver and visit Linus if we were doing that, which we may do. I'm probably going to end up in Seattle at some point this year. Oh, we're going to end up at Open Sauce. If anybody is watching, we're going to go down to Open Sauce, or at least I am, and wander around because I just want to see what's doing. And I haven't been doing any conferences for like a year, for like 3 or 4 years. So we need to get back out there. What's up, Instagram? The 3D Musketeers tour. I would, maybe I'd have a problem with that. I don't know. Here's the thing. I've invited those guys on the podcast. They haven't come on yet. They don't respond. We have chatted on Instagram once or twice before. But we said, come on the podcast. And they're like, only as long as you come on yours. I'm like, down, bet, let's do it. And then I said, when do you want to do podcasts? And they're not responding. They're scared. No, I'm sure they're busy. But yeah, go bother them too. We need to do more collabs. Like, I would love to do more stuff with more YouTubers. Like we did a video a few weeks ago with Everest, where we built out, we were working with Alex and we built out a new marble run for him. I'd love to do that with more YouTubers. So if there's folks out there who like need a product or something, we want to do that. And we will do it for a few folks. Like we've done them kind of like indirectly. Like we redesigned a folding plastic 3D printed clothes hanger for Simone Yetch. Like we do these design videos all the time where we take an existing product and we redesign it for 3D printing. So yeah, we'd love to do more of that. Can you show us a printer? It doesn't have to be live. Printers. We should walk through one of our printers one of these days. Quite frankly, I'm sure that video would do very well, but I want to show V18. If I showed V8, I would want to show V18 because that's our most advanced printer. These are V14. So we're in an older aisle, but like V18 is really sick. Maybe I should just do like a scope. Just like walk through like the render of V18 and kind of like walk through why it's good. A part of me has like the traditional thing of like, people are going to see all our secrets for printers. Like, here's the thing, guys. No one builds print farms from scratch. We're the only ones who have built a print farm of this scale from scratch with 1,000 printers in it. And we have learned a lot of things. That took years to learn. I don't want to necessarily immediately give the shortcuts of like, oh, when printers break, they do all this kind of stuff. Because it's not obvious. It's not like we're redesigning a publicly available machine out there. If we were redesigning a consumer machine or an off-the-shelf machine, then I would walk through that immediately just so that people know why ours is better. But inside of a print farm, this is a piece of industrial equipment. It's kind of trade secret-y to where we've taken our knocks to learn how to do it, and it's not commonly known what makes these good. So I'm not always sure how we do that. What do you think of vapor smoothing? Don't need it, shouldn't be around. It's an ancillary process. Use texture instead. That's a superpower of printing. Vapor smoothing is only kind of okay. Yeah. You mentioned you'd be in Seattle. What's the event in Seattle? It's not an event. I'm just going to go up there to meet like clients. Joel, 3D printing nerd. We have been texting each other for like 2 years saying we ought to do something together. Maybe that would be an excuse to go do it. Or I fly up there and we do something together. Yeah. That's what we should do. Hey, chat. Joel, the 3D printing nerd. He needs some merch. He needs some 3D printed merch. And he kind of has it with his STEM robotics nonprofit there. But we need to design him some merch. What would be a cool coin? This can't be a maker coin. What is something else? Yeah, Joel's awesome. Joel's a great guy. For a new print farm, I think it's necessary for a print farm or a print service of our scale to build your own printers, because with these that are from a manufacturer, they work for us right now with modification. I'm sure could change something tomorrow and jack with us. So for a print farm of our scale, you need to own your own machines, because long term, you're beholden to somebody. It's kind of like right now, everybody buys NVIDIA chips because NVIDIA is the best chip, but everybody's working to get away from NVIDIA chips because if NVIDIA screws up or screws you or something else, then you have all these chips that immediately can be bricked on you or something else or are incorrect. So you need independence in some kind of a way. So it's really important for us to have independence. So we will continue, and every print farm should build their own machines. It's very expensive, it's very difficult, and there's scale challenges to it. So we balance our need for growth with our need for stability. Building a machine is a really good way to ensure that we continue to be in business. Yeah, it's a single source supply problem. Here's the thing, we started using third-party machines fairly recently, and we did it as a backup to ourselves, because it was like, our production can shut down or go wrong or supply chain go wrong. So we need somebody else to replace us because we're not always perfect. Do a tour with 3D printing nerd. That's what it was. Joel wanted to come down because it's like a 12-hour drive from here to Seattle. So it's like something he could do, or 1-hour plane ride. We need to do it. We just haven't set it up. And again, here's the thing, guys. This factory works. It does stuff. I don't want to invite somebody on a tour and then say, you can't film anything because there's parts on these that are going into a rocket someplace. So that's kind of a bad YouTube video if we're like, we're in the Slant 3D print farm, standing in the corner, or here's the crappy aisle or whatever else it was of the old V8 machines. And this is a challenge we always have too. This is why we don't like film in the print farm on the regular, and we have these kind of controlled, limited views, because we cannot show the parts that our clients are making because we have to protect their IP. And that makes it really tough to do a tour, because we basically, in order to do an effective tour, we have to shut down the whole farm and make sure it's clear. And that's kind of expensive to shut down a day's worth of production for people to film through. Yeah. Let's see here, what else? How are we doing on the video upload? I got a bit. We're probably gonna wrap it up here, guys, because I have other work I gotta go do. Podcast will be coming out in about a half hour, looks like. So about 2 p.m. our time. The regular recorded podcast. It's a good one. So that'll have news and those kind of things. We can blur them out, but then you blur out the whole factory. We have done that before. We did it 2 years ago. We did a video on April Fool's Day. So we're finally doing a tour of the print farm. And we did that. And we just blurred everything. It was just me walking down an aisle with just a blur around me completely so nobody could see anything. But that's like what that video would have to be most of the time. So we did it as a joke. I live stream almost every single day. We're experimenting with live streams. So we're seeing what works, what doesn't work, all that kind of stuff. So live streaming is kind of new for us. We started doing it basically in like late November, like once per week. And then the last couple of weeks we have been doing it daily. We did it at noon every single day for a week. And then this last week we've kind of been jumping around, trying stuff. Obviously the Sunday stream is one of the best times because there's a lot of folks hanging out and going by. But it's also a thing of like, is it better on mobile, or is it better from desktop? Is it better inside the studio, or is it better in this aisle? So we've just been running through all these experiments. So we've been doing daily streams to test something every single day. So we work through all this stuff. These printers are slant box machines. So they're our internal machine that we use in our print farm. This whole print farm is spec'd out for 3,000 machines. We always say teleport is 1,000 machines in your pocket. So you can plug into our print farm and immediately have us printing and shipping orders for you. So a customer orders from you, one of our machines automatically fires up, prints the part, and then we pack it up and ship it to your customer for you. Anybody who's still hanging out here before I go, again, we have PCTG on pre-order over on tangledfilament.com. Tangled Filament, this is the first step of getting PCTG down to $13 per kilogram. We think we can hit the unlucky number. Give us probably about 6 months, maybe a year to do it. It'll probably be kind of a sequence where we'll get down to like maybe 18 bucks this year, and then like January of next year we can probably hit 13 if everything's rolling the way we want it to. But that's it. let's see here. I might start designing light logos for American cars. Do it. Or reach out to us. We'll help you out. One or the other. All right, what else? My back is hurting. Yeah. Okay. I think that's about it, guys. Thanks to you all so much for watching. I think we're going to wrap it up right there because I got work to do. I got to go answer emails and stuff for people. And get ready for tax season. All kinds of good stuff. And argue with the accountants. Yeah, I think that's what I got to do. I got all the things. Also work on a video. Just all kinds of things. I'm going to walk upstairs and work on that for a little while. Alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. This has been fun. I'll see y'all later. And I'll see you tomorrow. Generally do stream at noon on weekdays at lunch break. Masticate and conversate, as they say. All right, see y'all later. Unless anybody gets a question in before I get this stuff all turned off. In there. And then we're gonna go ahead. And that's the end.